Concerns me the most is when I look and say there was a persistent pattern of behavior that wasn't dealt with, because that is a series of missed opportunities and over a period of years.
What does it tell you that it was missed or not dealt with? She says it was dealt with, but inconsistently or not well enough.
Yeah,
so
and I think what it speaks to is that one of her other findings, which was, we don't have a consistent approach to training people on how to deal with this. We don't have a consistent, clear set of accountabilities associated with certain roles, and I think, it's very, very difficult for people who are trying to manage day-to-day behaviors if they're not sure if they're going to be supported in demanding a certain level of behavior and be backed up when they do that.
I know I asked you this on the call, but the way the CBC managers handled the internal investigation, can you speak to how that might be connected to Todd Spencer and Chris Boyce leaving the CBC?
I can't actually speak to the connection. I think there were inconsistencies and gaps that surfaced. I think we spoke to that last fall. I think, you want to be able to hold people to account for acting on information when they have it. If you don't surface the right information, then people can't act. And I think that's the troubling part for me was, you need to ensure that all the right information gets surfaced so that you can take the actions you need to.
What was the information that you feel wasn't passed on?
I feel that the thoroughness and rigor of the investigation should have been greater. I feel one of the missed opportunities, she talks about the red sky, and I can't really speak to that. And I think you just want to be assured that when you believe a series of activities is taking place, that they actually are taking place with what you've been told are the key elements and ingredients and the expectation.
And I know you addressed this in the fall with Peter, but do you feel now, especially after the reports come out, do you feel, as Ruben has spelled out, that managers put too much stock in his version of events? Or his rendition?
I'm not going to speculate on why managers made the choices that they did. I do think that she was right to highlight that a more thorough investigation should have been done. I certainly believed a more thorough investigation had been done.
I'll leave it at that. Okay. How about she spoke to 99 people, 17 people said no, including Ghomeshi. We know in the course of investigating or reporting in this story of other incidents in this building that connect to Ghomeshi, sexual assault, abusive behavior. And these women, we know for a fact, do not speak to her. So given the limitations that everything was voluntary, knowing that we ourselves know people that were victim to his abusive behavior.
You personally know people?
Yes. We reported on that. We reported on that in the course of this. So how much faith do you have that Ruben's report actually reflects how big a problem there was relating to Ghomeshi, or anybody else for that matter?
I think, the Ruben investigation was a very sincere effort on our part to say, here is an external, independent person who is trained in doing these investigations. It is what she specializes in. We hope that people will cooperate. You can't force people to cooperate. You can't force people to come forward. You can't force people to surface something that they maybe don't want to talk about. It is one of the most underreported kinds of transgressions and crimes that exist. So, in as much as did we try our best to create the conditions for people to be able to come forward, I think we did. I don't judge somebody who didn't, because people choose not to for all kinds of reasons. So I honestly think we can say that we we're very much trying to give an opportunity for people to come forward in a safe environment.
Okay, and just last question for me in case Laura has any others, but we know that since Ghomeshi's dismissal, that there have been several women have made complaints against at least 3 individuals in the English services, and I'm not counting for Radcan. And the union says that they believe that's an openness because of the Ghomeshi affair, women feeling more empowered to come forward. So it could indicate an openness, but it still does indicate that there's a problem.
Right.
So what do you think of that?
I do think a number of complaints, a small number, including the Ghomeshi-related complaint, I know there are 5. I also know that 4 of them have been dealt with. 1 is ongoing. I think it's fair to say that the issue has raised the profile of both what do you do, what constitutes sexual harassment, how do you deal with it, and it really did start a national conversation. And so in some ways I don't think it should surprise anyone that it has surfaced, not just in our workplace but in other workplaces, a higher focus and perhaps a higher number of people coming forward. That said, your goal is to have a zero tolerance for these things. I think it's just naive to say that I guarantee you this won't happen again. You can never guarantee that. You can't guarantee that in a workplace of 10 or a workplace like ours of almost 8,000.